prom, I was a sophomore. And my mother said, well, we can't buy you a dress. So I felt really bad, and I didn't go to school that day. I just couldn't face my friends. And then when I did go back, a senior girl said, would you like to borrow my dress I had last year? And it was a peach moire taffeta. And of course I said yes, and it fit me nice. It was a little bolero jacket dress. So that's what I wore the first year.
What year was that? Late 30s or?
Yeah, it would have been about 1940, I guess. Yeah, it would have been 16 that year. And then when I went the next year, I got to go, and I had a borrowed dress from a girl. It was a red chiffon. It was just so cute. It was just had a little V-neck and a white flower right here. And that's all decoration it had. And it just kind of, fourth year I made my own. My girlfriend, where I stayed with her, went to school, she helped me because she sewed too. And we both worked at it. And a few pointers maybe from her mother on the side. And that was all Swiss dotted, white with navy Swiss dots. And I had a little flouncy ruffle on the bottom and puff sleeves. And then my sister Marie got to borrow that later for Reedsburg, what they called some loyalty. They didn't, it wasn't a prom, it was loyalty, and they always wore formals, the girls. And so that dress got used a few times. Far enough from us, you know, in those days you didn't go back and forth much. You knew you had third cousins over there, or second or third, but we didn't get to know them all, hardly. But then we heard about this Eastman school. It was some of my relatives that lived in that neighborhood that I guess got it organized in the first place. And it was a country school. We went to school in Valley, Wisconsin, to a state-graded school. That had 2 years of high school, plus 8 grades. And, but the Eastman school was a country school, probably 2 or 3 miles out of Valley.
And that was for freed slave children, right?
I suppose it was
That's what it was started for.
You know, I heard some about it, but it was after I was growing up that I never really knew much about it. I knew we had some relatives that lived in that neighborhood and their kids went to that school. My dad, his name was Eastman, of course, and he had cousins he just barely knew, you know, because they all stayed on their farms and worked. They didn't go back and forth much in those days. You know, wasn't a lot of social activities. They all had to be home at night to milk their cows. It's kind of the way it was, I think. You know, and nobody had a lot of money to spend, so there wasn't a lot of socializing going on. But we would know. We had one. My dad had one cousin, first cousin, who was Maytag salesman. My mother got her first nice sewing washing machine from him. She used to wash clothes, and then we'd have to crank out the clothes after they were rinsed, you know, through a, what do you call it, rollers. Do it by hand. And she had a summer kitchen, they called it, where the washing machine was. You heated the water and put it in there. No, it wasn't running in. We had to carry a lot of water from the spring and heat it. She always had a big boiler on the stove and a canner and another kettle or two of boiling water. She washed her clothes in boiling water. Soaked her towels, and everything went on the clothesline those days.
A wood box in the corner where you'd have to take the split wood, stick it in the stove all the time to keep the stove going.
Yeah, we had a spring run too.
If the wood was kind of green, you'd always put it in the oven overnight. You dry it out so it would burn good in the morning. You start a fire.
That's the way most of the neighbors were in our area. There'd be a spring
kerosene
run on
lamps
their
and
place,
lanyards.
and they would sink a box in there and set your milk and things in the water about so deep to keep it cool. That was our refrigerator. And then you'd have to run like from here down to the road maybe, well not quite that far, down to get up, as kids got sent to bring up the milk and the butter and stuff. It's mealtime. And then of course, we had to carry water because then you had another part where Dad had built a wooden thing over it so the dirt couldn't fall in the water. And then it was open in the front, you'd just reach that pail in and fill up a pail of water and carry it to the house. That's what we drank and heated for everything. But there was always a big family, and that was us kids' job to carry water and stuff. was just plain and quite,
Okay.
but it was
Was
kind of fun making
was it hard because it was the time of war then to get fabrics and things?
No,
or?
yard goods was real reasonable then.
Yeah.
That would have been about, see, my senior, I graduated in '42, so it would have been that spring.
Mhm.
And yard goods was like 35 cents a yard for nice cottons, you know.
But what was in short supply during the war? You said
Oh,
once that you
well,
couldn't.
we
The
had to
butter
have-
went to the soldiers or something,
We
and you
had
all.
to have tickets to buy sugar. You were allowed just so much for families. Size, you know.
Like a ration card?
A ration card, yeah. Sugar and, I can't remember what all.
Everything was rationed, gasoline, you
Things
know.
were rationed off, yeah.
Yeah.